So, this happened last night. Not last night, last morning. It says 8:35 a.m. I'm dumb. 8:35 a.m. This tweet got 1.3 million views. All right. Made by Papa Mutt, Vtuber Dog Dad. Says here, tried playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For the first time in years. Good lord, this game is awful. I just watched some dork turn one combo his deck for no joke. No joke. He's not joking. 37 minutes. I played a game of TFT ranked before they were done with their first turn. I just, okay, hold on. We'll talk about it after that. Let's finish the tweet. Y'all, you know Solitaire already exists, right? Dork. D-O-R-K, dork, yes. But, okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, 37 minutes. Total, like, there's no way. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a chess timer of 300 seconds for each player. So that's 5 minutes. And for each player, it's 5 minutes. That's a maximum timer. And for both players to be passing priority back and forth, that means a turn can take no longer than 10 minutes. Now, that being said, whenever you do your, like a move or like you complete an interaction, you cancel whatever, I think you get like maybe a couple seconds. So let's just call it like 10 minutes, 30 seconds, or 11 minutes, like that can actually like take the span of a turn. In physical, would 37 minutes be possible? In physical, would 37 minutes be possible? That's a good question. There is one deck. There's one deck that I used to play against a lot during the time I played. And when I played was around 2012, 2014. And one deck that, maybe not 37 minutes, no. But it would take like a good 8 minutes. Infernities. This deck has a crazy ass loop, and it's all about setting all of your traps of barrier, force, I think, break, reflector. Is reflector one of them? Break is definitely one of them. You could set like maybe 2 or 3 of those, I believe. And barrier, the counter trap barrier, which is the omni negate. So this is the deck that I fought against that would take, no joke, like 8 minutes. And like I say 5 or 8 minutes, right? But you have to understand, like, I feel like people underestimate how long 5 or 8 minutes is to be just sitting there, not doing anything, watching your opponent do this crazy ass solitaire loop. It's not very, enjoyable. But yes, this deck took a while. Another deck that is worth mentioning is this one, Ritual Beasts. I love the flavor of it. It was a really bad deck though. It was a horrible deck, and this card actually got limited. When this card got limited, people were like, wait, why? Why did this card get limited? And it's because, like, when this archetype released and when people started figuring out the loops and combos for it, specifically for this one, I don't know if I could really explain it without taking so much time. But this card particularly has a loop where you can basically summon him, split apart, and search, and that happens in a chain of 2, and you could do that like 3 or 4 times in, I think 3 times in a turn. I think it's only 2 or 3 times in a turn, and it would just search like 2 or 3 things for you, barely plussing you at all. But the problem was that this interaction, this loop, took a long time, and so this card was limited specifically only because it took way too long to do in tournaments. So people, they didn't want to moderate it, so they just outright limited it. This is exactly the only reason why. Going back to the Twitter stuff, right? While I definitely see, like, okay, 37 minutes, that's ridiculous. And him claiming that he could play a TFT ranked during a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is also super fucking ridiculous. This tweet wouldn't have 1.3 million views. It wouldn't have 1,800 likes. It wouldn't be controversial if there wasn't a sort of element of truth to it, right? The element of truth being that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a very long-winded game. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a very special, unique card game in that turns can take a long time if you did not draw interruption. If your opponent has no interruption, then you can combo off for a good while. You know, it takes a long time, and it's not very fun. It's not very enjoyable to sit down across the table from. It's nice for me. It's nice for me. It's nice for people who stream Yu-Gi-Oh, because people who stream Yu-Gi-Oh, like, we could just talk to you guys, right? We could just talk to the chat and, you know, just shoot the shit while the opponent is just doing their crazy little synchro combo. So this tweet obviously did the numbers, did the works. So let's look at the replies. I kind of want to look at the replies, and we're going to go through his experience. I have his stream VOD pulled up, right? And we're just going to see exactly what happened. What happened for him to put out this tweet that was received so poorly. It was received extremely, extremely poorly, right? Let's see. All right, Hasher says, come on, man. This is literally just untrue. If this was on Master Duel, the game has a chess-like timer that gives you 5 minutes to play your game. So even accounting for pauses to let animations play, there's no way one turn took more than 10 minutes, let alone 37. True. Not untrue. All right, first off, 5-minute timer. So even if they were slow playing, no turn is going to be 30+ minute turns. Second, Yu-Gi-Oh is a competitive game. There is no casual scene in Master Duel PvP. Getting mad because others are playing the meta while you choose not to is a problem. It is I don't know if it's like necessarily a problem. Again, this tweet wouldn't be so controversial if there wasn't a modicum of truth to it, right? And the truth of what he's trying to say, what his overall message is that Yu-Gi-Oh is an experience for new players, obviously. And watching your opponent to do something for, you know, even 5-8 minutes is a long time to be sitting there doing nothing. And not a lot of new players are going to understand in the first place how to stop that, what to put in their deck to stop that and combat that and be on a more even playing level. Like, getting mad because others are playing the meta while you choose not to is a problem. I don't really know if it's like necessarily a problem. I mean, it's his own doing, sure, but I do think that Yu-Gi-Oh as an experience is really bad for new players. I'm pretty sure Master Duel does have a casual mode though. Yeah, but casual mode isn't really casual mode. If you win the coin flip in casual mode, a lot of times your opponent is just going to surrender because they know they're not going to be able to do their thing. So you don't really get to learn your deck, and you're not really having a game. You're not really having a casual match. For all intents and purposes, ranked is like the only way to play player versus player Yu-Gi-Oh, right? There's no real, like, casual mode is a joke. Yu-Gi-Oh is unironically the worst TCG. It looks like we're gonna get some agreeers here. The worst TCG. They ruined it the moment they started introducing all the new mechanics like Succeed and Synchro and all that shit over a decade ago. Lamau. This is a common Yugi boomer take, right? It's nothing new. We see this all the time. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh was cool when I was watching it as an anime as a kid, but nowadays it's just shit because they just added so many things to it, right? As far as this tweet goes, it's nothing new, right? But it still represents a very how would you say, a real opinion of Yu-Gi-Oh from an outsider's perspective, from someone who likes the show, likes the anime, and why it's hard for potential players, for new players, to kind of get into it, right? What does it say? So do you think Cyberstein was a great addition? What about Magical Scientist? So the argument against here, like what Sensha VT is saying, right, is Cyberstein and Magical Scientist, these cards enable crazy combos, crazy OTKs, FTKs even, and these cards are old cards. I think what this whole sort of thread showcases is the disconnect between a new player who is hopeful, who wants to play the game, while someone who actually really plays, and what their idea of Yu-Gi-Oh is. And their idea of Yu-Gi-Oh, at least Doll's idea, right, it's just a simple, it's Playground Yu-Gi-Oh. My friend talked me into learning it today. Now I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, all of this aside, Papa Mutt's tweet aside, right? Just look at the comments and look at the replies to Papa Mutt. This is scary. This makes it very scary to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And to have like an opinion of Yu-Gi-Oh! That's not like positive. Because the community backlash that you could draw is pretty bad. And to be fair, like, Yu-Gi-Oh has been sort of under attack for a while now. The worst game I have ever played. Why was Yu-Gi-Oh so awesome and what happened to it? Rarun's video. I spent 10 hours learning Yu-Gi-Oh to prove it's ridiculous, right? These are videos that recently have popped off. They've done very, very well. Did very good numbers. And a lot of people have watched it. And so Yu-Gi-Oh has been kind of like under attack a lot. And this is sort of, I feel the community's, they're getting onto it very quick and trying to sort of snuff it out before it pops off, I suppose. That being said, Papa Mutt's tweet here, 37 minutes, playing TFT ranked, it's absolutely ridiculous. And so I would say his kind of hyperbole is out of line and kind of deserves this backlash. But at the same time, how far they would go to defend it is kind of crazy. Stop fear-mongering the game for clout. It dissuades people that actually want to give it a shot from trying because they don't know you're over-exaggerating. That's true. And like Papa Mutt isn't like, Papa Mutt has a pretty good amount of, has a pretty big following, at least on Twitter, 14,000 followers. So he is over-exaggerating a lot. But at the same time, does Yu-Gi-Oh really have like even if Yu-Gi-Oh does have like potential new players, even if Yu-Gi-Oh has people who are interested in the game and want to try out the game, do you really think anyone who just logs into Master Duel and tries out the game themselves without any friends, without any kind of added incentive, maybe they were fans of the anime, they play the game, do you really think they'd stick to the game for long? My guess would be no. My guess would be absolutely not, because the game is really hard. The game is really difficult. It's evolved into such a pace where it's way too difficult to keep up, and there are so many knowledge gaps and knowledge barriers of entry to prevent you from having fun with the game as a new player. So like, yeah, he is fear-mongering, yeah, he is dissuading people, he is over-exaggerating, and it is overall negative for the new player experience, but it's not inaccurate. His new player experience isn't inaccurate, and it's not really going to change the outcome of them trying it. I think people bitch a little too much instead of just learning the game by playing. I did just fine without anime hype in one of the worst formats. Card games are niche, and Yu-Gi-Oh is even more niche. And so, like, there is a survivorship bias of like, oh, I did it. I played the game. I learned it by myself. I had no friends. I struggled and I learned everything on my own, and I did it, and I'm perfectly fine. But you're not everyone. You don't represent a majority case in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. You do not. You suck at Yu-Gi-Oh, but okay, just do you. Damn. If you haven't played the game in over 10 years without taking any time to learn the new mechanics of the game, then it's all on you. I mean, complaints about how Yu-Gi-Oh's new player experiences is not invalid. It's on the game itself. I'll just say it. It's on the game itself. The game is extremely unfriendly to newcomers, and on top of that, the community is too. These kinds of people are dumb. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like, God, I hate how these people are drumming up clout to deter new players away. And then it's like, I'm going to tell him how wrong he is and how bad he is at the game. That'll show all the new players that this game is approachable and easy to learn and anyone can play it. Maybe not. There has literally never existed in the history of the game a deck that takes that long to do one turn, stop spreading over-exaggerated fake numbers, and scaring off potential new players. I will agree that saying like, oh, I was sitting there for 5 minutes not doing anything doesn't really carry the same weight or the impact that 37 minutes has. But at the same time, sitting there for 5 minutes not doing anything is still pretty bad. And even if you do play hand traps, there's a potential that you don't draw hand traps. And, you know, this tweet doesn't have to scare off new players. This tweet doesn't have to scare off potential new players. The game itself scares off potential new players anyway. As well as all the replies to this tweet. But yeah, that's the tweet. Those are the replies. Obviously a lot of backlash. Obviously not very well received. Really fun to talk about. But let's see, what else does he have? Yu-Gi-Oh players have the same complaints as Papama. We are just too addicted by this point. Oh yeah, I feel like I take a shit on Yu-Gi-Oh and its design all the time on my streams. So, I mean, it's not wrong. And I feel like even from him, it's not invalid. It's just that his hyperbole and the way he expressed it is it's especially annoying, I guess. But it's not... The overall message isn't wrong. Papama tweets this right after. Y'all acting goofy as fuck in my DMs and comments because me, a new player, didn't like your game. I played on stream today since I don't know how to save replays. Both games were like this. My bad if I don't find this fun, but based on these replies, not sure if I want to play at all, Lamau. Well, I think he already kind of made it clear that he doesn't want to play. But yeah, let's see. Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this. I can't full screen it because if I do, it's going to break my thing. But let's see. Their turn versus my turn 1. Sped up 500%. This is a 42-second clip. It looks like it's Gishki's. It's Gishki's. He is getting comboed pretty hard. He pulls up a game of solitaire. Oh, it's Gishki Tierlament. He has Rena Heart. Yeah. Wow. Wait, the solitaire thing was pretty good. He had to have prepared it. But yeah, okay, 42 seconds. So if you do like 42 seconds, you times that by 5. What is that? 42 times 5. You got 210 seconds. Divide that by 60. So the opponent was comboing for about 3.5 minutes straight. And he is not playing. Obviously, he has no hand traps. Yeah, he has no hand traps. Kind of funny that, you know, he zoomed in this sort of way. You can't even see what realistically he's playing. I wonder if that's intentional. Because I did take a sneak peek at this. I know what deck he's playing, but we'll have to take a look. His board was set 1 pass. Yeah, that's true. In like games like Hearthstone, Magic, Lorcana, Legends of Runeterra, turn 1 doesn't really do that much as well, right? Like, what are you really expected to do turn 1? In other card games versus Yu-Gi-Oh! In other card games, like, in Lorcana, I set 1 ink, and sometimes I play a monster. In Hearthstone, maybe I have a 1-drop in hand. This game is so turn 1 and turn 2 focused. Because if you don't have combo, then you're probably at a huge disadvantage. Or if you don't have the interruption to stop the combo, right? So it's very binary, and as far as like the experience goes, of did you open your combo or did you open interruption, yes or no, right? And if the answers are no, it could result in this experience. Like if I didn't draw Maxi or Ash Blossom, and if let's say I drew just last night, you can pull up my stream, right? You can pull up my stream just last night. Go to like my very first game as Kashtira. This was my very first game as Kashtira. Right? So that was my turn 1. So it's not unrealistic. Like it's not unrealistic for this to happen. Right? It happens. It definitely happens where you just don't have things to play. Even if he was playing like a meta deck, right? It definitely happens where you just don't have anything to play. It's very binary. Did you open the interruption or not, right? These games, obviously, a lot of them did pan out, and I didn't brick as hard. But, I mean, that was my very first game playing as Cash, and it was what it was. You should have drawn better. True. Skill issue. So, like, even though this happened to him, he got owned by this fringe deck. It's not like, I mean, can we stop pretending like it's not super, like, uncommon? It's not, it happens. It definitely happens where you just don't have the interruption. And the only thing is, the difference between, like, most players and Papam at Vtuber is that most players would just realize that they can't really do anything and quit out, right? So. I literally refuse to play this game because of that kind of gameplay, and because of how many people will get in your face over being allowed to do this. Like it's some kind of alpha dog flex they need to have on people instead of playing actual two-person gameplay. I don't really find too much wrong about this, honestly, because like people are obviously very defensive. Papa Mutt came off as very obnoxious, and a lot of people, you know, are gonna on everything he posts and tweets for a while about Yu-Gi-Oh! Any kind of criticism, no matter if the overall message of it being ridiculous is, you know, it is a valid criticism. Actual two-person gameplay, there is actual two-person gameplay in Yu-Gi-Oh! Obviously, and technically speaking, if you drew interruption, if you drew out, then there is some strategy, there is some input from you as a second turn player to stop your opponent from playing. But it is still the fact that there are games where you just don't have that. And for a new player, they're never going to know how to actually get into this game. When you play and start up Master Duel as a new player, that tutorial mode, that initial experience is a totally different game to what you play and what you run into on ranked. It is a totally different experience. So like the actual two-person gameplay, yes, it technically exists in Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's very muted. There are a lot of games where it doesn't exist, and it's attributed to how Yu-Gi-Oh is designed and the power creep that has formed it today. Isn't that true for any card game? So, okay, this is something I get in a lot. This is something I get in a lot of comments and a lot of replies for some reason. Like, isn't that true for any card game? Isn't it true in any card game for you to just get like turn one comboed and have nothing to do, to be absolutely like shit on? No, not really. Most card games don't have that. Most card games have a resource system, and so there usually is going to be input from both players. In many card games, in many other card games, there's going to be input on certain players. Yeah, there are game states where they are kind of like done, or rather they don't realistically have an out or like a hope or a prayer to win, but there's still like input from them. And I think that is something that gets commonly overlooked and maybe not viewed as important, that the fact that those games allow for input from both players is very important and to contributing to a more healthy new player experience, right? It's not true for any other card game. It is really just a Yu-Gi-Oh exclusive thing, right? His criticism is definitely correct. The game of Yu-Gi-Oh can be extremely binary. It's something we have learned to accept for better or worse. Right. I mean, you guys can like it, right? Yu-Gi-Oh, people who play Yu-Gi-Oh like it enough to still play it. But like, what I don't like personally is people pretending like these problems don't exist. You draw a useless hand in Hearthstone? Sure, sometimes you do. But it's not like, are you going to sit there and say that the times you draw a useless hand in Hearthstone totals or is comparable at all to the times where you like as a new player you're going into a game, how overwhelming, how tall that wall is for a new player, how useless every hand you play as a new player is? Like that doesn't exist. The best sweet spot for a player who want to play card games is Marvel Snap. I feel like the best advice I can give to people wanting to play Yu-Gi-Oh is to not play Yu-Gi-Oh. The game is unfair, says the guy that decided to play Exodia FTK. I mean, yeah. The thing about Yu-Gi-Oh is, what's fun about Yu-Gi-Oh is that you can play a toxic combo deck. Being toxic is fun. Being toxic in a combo in a competitive game is fun. It's not like, it's not unfun. It's unfun for the other guy, but it's fun for you. And like, you know, I think it'd be better if people were more honest about that. Or at least it'd be more palatable to me, I guess, if people were more honest about liking being toxic. 99% of card games don't have insane shit like Yu-Gi-Oh! I meant that sometimes you just draw badly and can't answer aggro decks in Hearthstone, for example. Yeah, no, that's true. But it's not, like, comparable to Yu-Gi-Oh! Let me get this straight. You sit through 4 minutes. Post to Twitter about it, no joke, taking 37 minutes. True. Get upset by solitaire decks when you are playing the solitaire deck that you cropped out. Did I get that right? Why post bullshit instead of just making a valid criticism? Yeah. Look, he was playing Exodia. Right arm of the Forbidden One in his hand. Cursed Bamboo Sword and Extravagance. So he actually, like, has some cards here that people play in this solitaire deck. That is pretty funny. That is very ironic. And, you know, it is a joke for sure, the 37 minutes thing. Getting upset by solitaire deck when you are playing the solitaire deck. It is a funny call out for sure from Eclipse. Is it valid criticism? The way he worded it, no. The overall message, I think it is. I think it is obviously a valid criticism that every new player has, in that the new player experience is shit. The thing is, Yu-Gi-Oh players are just tired of hearing that. Yu-Gi-Oh players are tired of hearing about how the new player experience is shit, because they know it's shit. And so they, like, you're not saying anything new. So what the f***'s the point, right? I get it, it's annoying, but I also think, like, probably didn't warrant everyone jumping down his throat. I agree, the QRTs are more harsh than they need to be, and I'm not going to pretend the game is friendly towards new players. But I also mentioned multiple times that you should do the solo mode / build a better deck before jumping into ranked to ease into the game and relearn the rules. Yeah, just jump into solo mode, build a better deck, go join a community Discord, you know, hop on Reddit, talk to your streamer Discord or whatever, get a friend to show you how to play, look up a deck, net deck, right? It's like, look up a Wikipedia on what missing the timing is. There's so many, like, hoops, there's so many hurdles that a new player has to jump through to actually get into, learn, and play this game. A lot of research, a lot of homework that needs to be done. And, you know, it's... I did all of solo and made my deck, which I thought was good for a kind of ramp-up style of play. At least I thought I did. Turns out, if I'm not winning turn 1, I've lost. I can't build a deck around doing stuff turn 4 or 5 anymore. It's gotta be turn 1 or bust. I mean, is he wrong, though? Is he wrong here, though? Like, this is actually, like, the only thing he said without, like, any sort of hyperbole or whatever that I feel is definitely very agreeable. The best decks are built to win turn 1, right? The best decks are built to win turn 1 and turn 2. And if you're playing on ranked, you're playing on Master Duel, and there's only one mode, one way to play for everyone, then yeah, I mean, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get very far with decks that are designed to win turn 4 or 5. I just think this got blown way more out of proportion than it ever needed to be. Like, it's clear that Papama has no intention of returning to Yu-Gi-Oh, so who are we really trying to convince? It's, yeah, you're not trying to convince anyone. You're right. This is something that I feel was put into words very nicely recently. Like, I recently watched a video on it, and let me see if I could give you guys context on it, right? So I follow this guy on Twitter, Maximilian Dude. Great guy, fighting game streamer, fighting game content creator, did a lot to help new players get into fighting games and make fighting games more palatable to people wanting to get into the franchise. And this is the incident that I wanted to, I guess, bring up for that. Maximilian Dude essentially put out a tweet where he was very happy that Square Enix officially said the way to say this character's name, right, which is spelled, you know, Kate Sith, basically, is, you know, I'm so glad that they did it because, you know, people should stop trying to say, like, weeb names and say that's like the correct way to pronounce it. That's an entirely silly thing to do. But the community backlashed against him very horribly and would claim that he's racist, would claim that he is just all kinds of evil, because apparently the way to pronounce this character's name is Ketchi. Ketchi is how you pronounce this character's name. And Ketchi, or Kate Sith, is a old folklore character. I think it's Scottish. I don't know. I'm not an expert on it, but it's like it's a folklore character that's belonging to a certain culture, and the language is like Celtic. And Celtic is a language that was there's like a culture war. Literally, there was laws put against using that language. And so the fact that like Square Enix came out and say, oh, you don't pronounce Kate Sith as Kate Sith, it's Ketchi, or rather, you don't pronounce it as Ketchi, it's Kate Sith, you know, had a lot of people jumping down Square Enix's throat, and a lot of people jumping down Maximilian's throat over how they're obviously racist, or they are being, how would you say? You're trying to like black out this like piece of culture, this piece of history, essentially, right? You're trying to block it out. When the reality of the situation is that Maximilian dude, who released a YouTube video explaining it, didn't have any idea of like the culture war, or Celtic as a language, or Ketchi being the original way to pronounce the name. He like, you're talking there are two groups of people talking about two way different things, right? Like Maximilian dude and other content creators that say, oh great, it's pronounced Kate Sith. They just think that Final Fantasy VII fandom is being silly Final Fantasy VII fandom and wanting to pronounce it like a weeb. But in reality, it's entirely different. People that are attacking them are talking about an entirely different thing. And what all of that points out to, what my whole reason of bringing that up is, right, is that people on Twitter do not really see this tweet or this tweet as an opportunity to teach someone genuinely. This is not seen as a teaching opportunity as much as it's seen as an attacking opportunity, right? It's an opportunity to attack. It's an opportunity to dogpile. It's an opportunity to farm impressions. It's an opportunity to farm likes. It's an opportunity to sort of attack someone for having the wrong opinion. And it's something, obviously, I think is silly and dumb about Twitter. And it's, I don't know. It's interesting. It's a shame. Gaelic, sorry. Yeah, story erasure. Yep. Culturally insensitive. Yeah. But like, there's no way he, or even like Square Enix for that matter, the PR, really know about that. Maybe Square Enix knows, but like, I don't really think, like, do you really think Square Enix cares about erasing Gaelic history? Right? It's Irish. Yeah, Scottish. No, my bad. I'm not an expert, like I said. What's your opinion about all this language drama? I think people, that's my opinion, is that people are very vitriolic, and they get very excited about opportunities to attack people rather than trying to teach someone. And that's why we were talking about it, because I was talking about Vexper's comment here, that this got blown way out of proportion more than it ever needed to be. It's clear that Papama has no intention of returning to Yu-Gi-Oh! So who are we really trying to convince? We're not trying to convince anyone, right? Twitter's not trying to convince anyone. Twitter is just here. The people in this reply chain are here to farm engagement. They're here to farm likes. They're here to attack him and his thoughts and his opinions rather than try to like teach him, which, you know, I feel like people get carried away with pretty easily. But yeah, the comments saying you are driving people off along with the edgy gamer anger in those comments are the reasons I won't play. Yeah, I mean, if it's not Yu-Gi-Oh! The game that drives new players away, it's the community. It's definitely the community. I feel like it is detrimental to what Yu-Gi-Oh players actually would appreciate and like, maybe? I don't know, maybe not. Maybe people don't really care to introduce new players into the game. But I would say anyone who's like hopping into this probably don't really care about new players getting into the game. Or well, no, they probably just like to clown on someone who is clowning, you know? Clown on the clown. It's not that deep. Haha, okay, I get it, gamers. My bad. I promise I won't play Yu-Gi-Oh ever again. I've uninstalled the game. I won't talk about it, stream it. You guys win. Y'all built different. Please stop telling me to die in DMs. Lamau, you guys win. Your card game is safe for me playing it. Dang. Obviously, like, him getting DMs of death threats, or not death threats, but like telling him to die, kill yourself, whatever. It's the internet, but at the same time, it is not acceptable, and it does suck. I've muted all my threats from yesterday, and I'm no longer accepting DMs until further notice. Thank you to everyone that sent a kind message. It really does help. I'm okay. I just have no desire to engage with that community anymore. Sending y'all positive vibes and big love. Yeah, I don't blame him. Let's take a look at his VOD, Papa Mutt. So this is where he plays Yu-Gi-Oh.
I suck. What? I haven't played the new
Silver 5.
I need to play the new season. Wait, why is this like not? Chad, I told you. Here we go. I'm telling you, this is the one. I bet this is the one game ever where like I go against like a baby. I bet you this is the one game I go against a baby, bro. This is gonna be the one game.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that, man.
It's baby hours incoming, chat. Here we go, chat.
Royal Magic Library. Yep, he's playing the Exodia deck.
Here we go. All right, I'll go first. Sorry, I go first. All right, watch my very mid-turn, chat. Watch my mid-turn. Ready?
Wait. Why? Wait, is he gonna activate Upstart Goblin at least?
Okay. Ta-da! I did it.
Wait, I'm not that familiar with Exodia FTK, but Royal Magical Library, aren't you supposed to try to get the tokens? And maybe he wouldn't be able to get the tokens? The spell counters? Okay, maybe he wouldn't be able to get it. Yeah, well, no, he had Cursed Bamboo Sword. How do you play Cursed Bamboo Sword? He had 2 stuff there, right? I mean, you just equip it, target one other Bamboo Sword, return to hand. Could he get 3 counters on this or no? I mean, he could have probably go for a link. He didn't even draw with pot. Well, he drew pot off Upstart Goblin. He drew pot off Upstart Goblin. He couldn't play. You can't play pot of Extravagance because pot of Extravagance requires you to do it on the first thing on the main phase. He couldn't. Yeah, okay. He could. Pot has to be played at the beginning of the main phase 1. Yeah, so he couldn't play. Couldn't play pot. He had 3 counters easy.
Here we go. All right, I'll go first. Sorry, I'll go first.
I mean, Magical Library, Upstart Goblin, Cursed Bamboo Sword. That's only 2. That's only 2, right?
All right, watch my very mid-turn.
Who runs Raigeki in an Exodia deck,
watch
though?
my mid-turn. Ready?
Sure.
Okay. Ta-da!
He should have saved Upstart for next time.
I did it. Well, I'll do this too, probably. All right, I did it.
He's setting Extravagance.
I did it.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
That's my turn. Let's see if this guy Mittens has got know what's up, chat. Let's see if Mittens knows what's up, chat. Let's see if let's see if they prove my point. Let's see if they prove my point. I'm excited.
Wait, so he had like some kind of point or agenda to show before that he explained before the stream, I think, before this game. Which I think is that
they goddamn do. Fee for free?
I think he's trying to see if they combo him off, right?
You dork. Oh, here we go! Everyone stand by!
Oh,
please start doing stuff.
Chaos Space.
Please start go crazy. I'm so excited.
And we just keep going.
The problem.
It's Dragon Link.
Yeah! He's still doing shit!
It is Dragon Link.
Yes.
Yep.
Let's see.
It's Dragon Link. Oh,
Timer.
well, he didn't win. Or he didn't even do like the best thing. He didn't follow the combo guide. The Dragon Link player ended on a really mid board. This dude's having a Joker heart.
Oh look, I have nothing left. Oh right.
You see, everyone that causes drama in Yu-Gi-Oh are people that are not really learning the game. Yeah, typically people with a following that are trying to learn the game. Well, no, like, I don't necessarily think that's true. And even if it, like, I feel like you still have bad experiences that are legitimate from people. Like, let's look at Raran, for example. He's making this video. He's live right now, apparently. But, he has other videos where he does similar things, where he learns Pokemon TCG, where he learns, Magic the Gathering, and it's a lot better. They don't go as badly as his experience with Yu-Gi-Oh. So I don't agree with that. I don't think anyone who starts Twitter drama over Yu-Gi-Oh are speaking from a place of disingenuity, like being disingenuous. But he certainly was. At least as evidence from here. This is disingenuous, but at the same time it's not entirely wrong.
Papa, I love Yu-Gi-Oh so
but it's very clear that he is
Do we have a timer of how long that turn took?
He has an agenda. This guy.
So now I have nothing. Take it to some. I have nothing now. End of story. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let me try to.
Very clear about being bad faith. Yeah, exactly. Bad faith actor.
Let's see if I can board wipe him. Will that actually work? Let's find out. Because I'm curious if he can rebuild his board after I board wipe him. I'm at 1900 health, by the way, in one turn. In one turn, dude. Wait, okay.
I mean, he should be dead, but.
Nope. Goes with 3. This is so.
Can he rebuild his board? Let's see. Does it happen?
I went to get water, bro.
Oh, he does get Boral Land.
Wow. That was really fun. Did we have fun?
It's very clear that he has an agenda. Oh, this is the fabled game. This is the game that's on the tweet. Yep, this is the Gishki.
All right. Sure, why not?
Regeki killed Chaos Angel. Yeah, isn't Chaos Angel supposed to be unaffected or no? Long play is Yu-Gi-Oh! I do not understand the expectations for modern day Yu-Gi-Oh!
Sure, why not? Sure, more! Yeah! Keep going! Is that all you got? Sure!
Not only did he miss the Bamboo Sword activation, but the opponent didn't even bother using IP.
Let's keep going, baby!
Chaos Angel only unaffected by monster effects? Okay.
Still, I guess, sure. Oh, we're still comboing. Alright. Move it there. Okay, I've got a card, so we'll do that. Nice. Let's see here.
Yeah, he pulled out the solitaire game.
10 over here. Okay.
I guess he didn't really expect so many of the Yu-Gi-Oh fans to hop on and jump down his throat in the way that they did.
Oh, that's it.
Which makes sense, because let's see what he did. It looks like he's done with Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, it looks like he's absolutely done with Yu-Gi-Oh! He's watching the Pro ZD. Yep. The Shadowverse promotion. Love that. And then he goes to play Fortnite. So he plays 2 games of Yu-Gi-Oh! He plays 2 games of Yu-Gi-Oh! To show how ridiculous it is. And it's kind of similar to Raran's video, I guess, in a way. But at least Raran gave it, like... Well, he tried to spend 10 hours. I think he only ended up giving 4 hours, right? Or am I wrong? I'm pretty sure he ended up only giving 4 hours to it. But I feel like Raran at least tried to approach it from a fair point, and he was trying to learn the decks. He was given a deck by his community to try and learn, and you clearly see with his other videos where he does this kind of experiment where he spends out X amount of hours to learn a different card game, where it does turn out to be a lot more successful, and it's genuine. I think from looking at his VOD and this tweet, it's very clear that Papa Mutt had an agenda, and he had an impression of Yu-Gi-Oh! That he wanted to clearly demonstrate to his viewers that it was bullshit. And while he's not necessarily wrong, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is bullshit. It clearly comes from a place of like bad faith. It's just funny. It's funny stuff. Sorry for Papa Mutt that he's getting, death wishes in his DMs. That obviously sucks, and nobody should go through that, and nobody should be sending him death wishes. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna clown on Twitter, it's gonna hurt. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is at the same time. But yeah, I thought that was funny and interesting. I don't know, leave a like and comment, subscribe, because I am editing this, and yeah, I would love to know what your takes are on this topic. I mean, I feel like it's all been said and done in the past. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a shit experience for new players. What else is new? I think it was still an interesting and funny case to look into nonetheless, though. So I guess my only question, my only thing is, did you enjoy yourself? Did you enjoy yourself listening to the story? Right? Maybe that's the only thing I really need to know. All right, thanks.